together to celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
No, typically it's not a holiday that we share with family. Well, that's a little judgment.
Take that, Irish.
I mean, I am Irish.
I guess you now know what Steve thinks of you. Take that, Patty O'Houlihan.
Seamus McBlarney Stone.
I would argue that airline is, a step up, but there's something about those bottom two that start with an S and start with an F. I don't know why. What are they going to advertise? It's Spirit, it's Frontier, and it's JetBlue. Ah, dang it! The representative was just walking in with a giant-sized novelty check, Steve, and now he's...
Doug, JetBlue, come back. Familiar with, the whole tiny house thing?
Yep.
That I think that there's a good possibility that we will do that at some point in our lives.
So dumb.
Okay. Well, you're not invited for game night.
Where would I sit?
Feelings are still a bit hurt from that. That's all right.
I'm not kidding. If you do that, I don't know that I can continue, talking to you and acknowledging you. And
I noticed how you didn't say friendship.
No. Yeah. Call this what it is. At this point, you and I are here for the profits. Those pure, beautiful, beautiful profits.
Cash and checks. Cash and checks every week on this here podcast.
It's a business exchange. I walk in, you cut me my check, you take yours, we record, we part ways.
We go spend our riches, and then we meet back here a week later once the account is drained.
Never to talk again.
It is Saturday, January 25th, 2020, the year of our Lord, the Steve and Kyle podcast. Back once again.
Let's get it right out of the way, Steve, because...
Uh-oh.
You and I have had some talks on this very podcast a lot over the years, and there was a bit of a proclamation made by you this fall, maybe even late summer, to me.
I already don't remember, and I can guarantee that whatever I claimed I was going to do, I probably didn't.
And we're now sitting here, January, nearly February.
Oh, no, I know what you're getting into now.
And you're about... to break your own word. And I'm not surprised, because if I had a date on when you told me this, I would have... I'm sure my next comment was, sure, Steve.
I know exactly when I would have made the proclamation. It would have been July/August.
Okay. Because you texted me. We were trying to figure out what time we're going to record this morning.
Yeah. I always prefer the earlier records.
Yep. Because
I'm typically up earlier, since my schedule throughout the week gets me out, I'm up at 3:15 Monday through Friday.
Sure.
So on Saturdays, I slept until 6:30 today, and then at that point, wide awake, staring at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Dum-dee-dum.
Right.
What should I do? So got out of bed, did some renovations here in APS 3.0, which I think we're in APS 3.5.
Okay, what does that mean?
We upgraded the Jumbotron works again.
By going to an older TV that's smaller?
No, same size.
Oh, is it the same size?
42,
okay.
Man. 42. That's a 42-inch plasma.
Oh, so we have to make sure we don't leave it on by accident so there's no screen burn?
I bought that thing in November of 2010 when I bought my house. That was my housewarming gift to myself. Other than my house, that was my first big boy house purchase.
Yeah.
I'm
TV.
I'm gonna get a sweet TV, and I got that. And I remember I got it at Best Buy during some sale.
Sure, there's always a sale.
Dragged it back to my apartment at the time, and then it just sat in the living room of my apartment for about a month until I closed on my house. I surprisingly resisted the urge to rip it open and set it up in my apartment, probably because it would have taken up half of the living room.
So you bought this, and you tried to put this up this morning. Again, when was the last time this thing was turned on?
We've used that in this house before we got our current TV.
Oh,
so it's probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's just been leaning up against the wall in the corner here in APS 3.0.
So you tried to lift it up. It was no doubt between 80 and 120 pounds.
Yes, but back then, 10 years ago, The new lightweight plasma TVs. Remember when you used to, if your plasma TV would stop working, you could get the plasma refilled? Like you'd have to go to a welding shop and tell them, like, hey, refill the plasma on this thing.
I remember.
My blues are looking like greens.
Give me a plasma injection.
Stat.
I remember I bought my first plasma. It was the summer of 2008, Steve. And it was a hard summer.
Was peak plasma time.
It was, and I paid an outrageous number. And I remember hooking it up and being so excited.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later, watching a movie. The movie was called Dead Snow.
Okay.
And it was a horror movie regarding Nazis that were actually zombies.
Okay, so mask.
Yep.
Things that go bump in the night. And a bat, no doubt.
All three in the first few minutes, actually.
Great. I mean, as we know, that's the trademark of a classic horror movie.
Of every horror movie. And I fell asleep after the movie. Well, it must have been towards the end of the movie, and it went back to the main screen, and I didn't wake up until the morning. Mm-hmm. So for the duration of that plasma television's life, there was the main DVD screen of Dead Snow burned into the screen.
Man, I didn't think that really happened.
It didn't affect your TV watching because as long as there were other colors going on, it's not like
it would overpower it.
Right. It was just when it was off, you could always see an outline.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with APS 3.5.
Yeah.
Is you hucked a 112-pound plasma up here. Now, was the plasma one that you had to make sure you don't tilt it past 8 degrees, otherwise the colors will be backwards?
I remember them saying when I got it, never lay it down and don't stand it up on its end. So it always where it was laying in or leaning up against the wall here, it was just leaning straight up and down against the wall, just like it is mounted on the wall, like that orientation. And man, for not being on in a year and a half, 2 years, plugged the thing in, hit the power button, turned right on. Everything looks perfectly fine. I mean, the resolution's not the best, but
I probably had a 480p.
Sure, yeah, really low refresh rate or whatever. But we digress.
Sorry, boy.
We are now in APS 3.5. New monitors up on the wall. That is all I did. I cleaned up some garbage a little bit.
And by cleaned up, you mean ate half the Kit Kats?
Ate half the Kit Kat. Well, I ate my half of the Kit Kats.
That we received from our friend Trevor in Nashville.
Trevor brought 4 of the jumbo-sized dark chocolate Kit Kats, which we've raved about.
Yep.
Which, if you're not eating, you're an idiot.
You're missing out on candy and candy bars.
Yeah.
If you're not indulging in the dark chocolate Kit Kat, fix it.
Trevor gave us 4 of them, as well as some of the Steve and Kyle non-denominational winter solstice ornaments. Mm-hmm. And so I decided I'm hungry. I ate my half of the Kit Kats, which you seemed a little disappointed by.
I appreciated the bonding you and I would have when we would share.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to eat half of your half.
You've mentioned that.
So,
I'll keep it in the back of my mind.
So everything got straightened up in here. Cleaned up the pillows on the couch back there.
Okay.
There was an old DVD player sitting over on the old bed that is inexplicably in this room. That has been used one time in 2 years that we've lived here.
Right, getting good use then.
Yeah. I set up the DVD player, and in the process of doing that, I did a P90X workout for the first time in 8 years.
This is a blast from the past. Plasma TV, a DVD player, P90X.
Yeah.
What's next? You're going to bring out the Sega Dreamcast?
Oh, boy. No, I was a GameCube guy.
Okay, so you went with the Nintendo route. That's not that out of the...
I wasn't... I mean, I didn't have one, but my... let's see. Senior year in college, the girl that I was dating, she had a younger brother, and he was big into GameCube. So he'd always come over to our apartment and bring his GameCube, and we'd set it up and play that. But, I was a GameCube guy. But, yeah, I'll get one. I'll definitely buy one.
I'll bring over the Surge.
Oh, boy. I never liked Surge, actually.
Oh, okay, get out.
That was garbage. It was like carbonated Ecto Cooler.
What the hell's the matter with you?
But we digress.
But we terribly, terribly digress.
Mm-hmm.
So, to go backward, you had asked what time. We figured out, about 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me, okay, done by 11:15.
Yeah, which wasn't by the way, I know that I looked at the text later and I said that made it come off as me saying, I got to be done by 11:15.
Which is no problem, by the way.
But that was just like, we start at 9:30. We'll be done by 11:15.
Right.
But if we go past it, no problem at all.
It never works that way either, by the way.
No, never. Because 9:30 inevitably ends up being, even if it's 9:35, we stand upstairs, talk to my wife for a little while. Yep. The dogs are running around. By the time we get down here, sit down, hit record, 9:55, 10 o'clock easily.
Yeah, it was 9:58 when we hit record today.
Yeah.
And we have a fast 5 to record as well.
Yeah. So basically, we're right on schedule.
Nailing it, as usual.
Because we have, the reason I wanted to get it knocked out early, I actually considered sending you a text at like 7 o'clock saying, hey, I know you said 9:30, but just in case something happened to open up, I know that, I don't know what your wife's schedule is like this weekend. I know she works a lot of weekends, which means that you have to take Reed to either your parents or your in-laws to watch him. But I figured, and then I was like, nah, never mind. If he's up, he'll shoot me a text.
Yeah.
Figuring that, because that's happened from time to time.
Yeah, you know what? Feel free, though. If you're ever up and around.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, next Saturday, probably not, because my wife works, and where I drop him off, won't want to be texted at 7:30 saying, hey,
sure,
knock, knock, we're here.
Yeah.
But anyway, you messaged me that, and I said, okay. So in my mind, I thought you had a hot remote at a car dealer.
No, sir.
Maybe a toy outlet store.
No, we had a couple of things that we have to get done today. We had to go and pick up Annette's car from the body shop. It had to get some work done to it. So we just knocked that out early. We went over there because I drove over last night, paid the guy for the work, and got the keys, but it was before Annette got home from work, so she couldn't come with me to pick up the car, blah, blah, blah. So we just went over there. It's 5 minutes away. We picked it up today. Car looks great, by the way. Does not look like...
Same shop that took your Jeep?
Yes, that was now the fourth vehicle that they've worked on for me.
You're the... Do you get like a miles card? Do you get miles for every time you go
punch
there?
it. Yeah, they punch it every time I'm in there.
Your fifth visit, you get a half off.
Yeah, next time, that quarter panel clear coat, that's on us.
As a thank you for expanding our business.
This is a great local body shop. If you happen to need a recommendation for a body shop in the West Michigan area, I'd be happy to recommend it to you if you reach out to us.
Nothing but positive experience you've had.
Great guy. He's worked on the old white Jeep when it was hit by a county snowplow. He worked on. He did the repair work on Murder Jeep number 1. My daily driven Murder Jeep.
What was that thing called? Jeep Resto. Jeep Restoration.
Second Chance Jeeps.
Second Chance Jeeps. Huh?
He did the work on the second Murder Jeep, the one that me and Cy Nolan Ryan Young bought and sold
after a mere
after just a minor transitional period. And then he did the work on Annette's car. Everyone looks fantastic.
So this guy knows you on a first name basis now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
chat with him for a few minutes every time I'm in there, and really nice guy. Just very helpful.
But as it turns out, it is not radio show related.
It's not.
That you wanted to be done by.
No.
And again, it wasn't that you wanted to be done or needed to be done by then. That was just your estimation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it turns out, Steve, that you have broken an oath.
An oath that I set forth.
This is something that you're estimating you said last summer, mid Annette's pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the specifics.
Oh, I do.
But I remember the general gist of it being, I'm not going to do any home projects for the first year of Evelyn's life.
Yeah.
And obviously you didn't say her name, but you get what I'm saying.
Right. Well, that would have been because July or August, that was right when we were right in the heat of the pregnancy.
Sure. You're on the back half.
Exactly. We're a month away from baby being born.
That was September, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was born September 21st.
Wow. Never forget.
# never forget, yeah. I probably won't because she's my daughter. kind of important. So
that means you're going to forget 9/11 then?
But what, you think that my brain can only remember one date?
You got room for one date in there.
What's your date? What do you remember?
Oh, it's 9/11, Steve.
Apologies to the families.
For God's sake.
So, leading up to Evelyn being born, as you remember, we did the big renovation that we did around the house.
Sure.
Was the upstairs bedroom. We did flooring, doors, trim, paint, and then we did the flooring in the hallway.
Yep.
And the new railing. Mm-hmm. And that was an ass kicker. Hired out some of it just to make it a little bit easier on us.
Right.
And we were very happy with how it turned out. Looked great. But, man, I spent like my whole vacation.
That was it. It was work.
It was solid work, and doing the floor nearly killed me because it was all of the cuts had to be made outside in 90-degree heat.
Yeah, and you only had a saw for 4 hours.
It was the nailer. The saw.
Oh, the nailer.
Yeah,
that's
the saw.
Right.
The saw is mine, so I have that for as long as I need it. But yeah, the nail gun I had to rent because it's not
a normal.
It's not. Yeah, it's not something I could use for. It's a flooring nailer, so there's no other use for it. No reason for me to have one. In hindsight, though, I've now rented it twice.
Might as well just buy one
for I think like $60 each time. I could have just bought one, and
it definitely makes the most sense to buy one now that you've replaced all the flooring.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably do that.
You've got to keep your eyes on the prize, which is obviously the next house. And you'll probably need flooring at that next one.
Oh, put a pin in that because there's something about the flooring. There's an update on.
How? You
exactly.
Have you
exactly.
You've just been walking on it, I presume.
Not an update from me.
Okay.
This is an external force that has made its way to us.
I hope I go upstairs and there's like a hill, like some of it's warped.
Way.
Okay.
I might need to buy that nailing, that nailer. So we were in the heat of chaos, preparing for the baby.
Yeah.
We wanted to get all of the work 100% done because once the baby's here, everyone knows.
Oh yeah.
The amount of time that you have to do things, it basically disappears.
Right. And you did. You got it all done.
Got it all done.
Yep.
Very happy with it. Every day I still look at it and I'm like, man, like not to pat myself on the back, but we did a great job with this. Yeah. I love how it looks.
Looks good.
And we're really proud of it. So last week I was in Nashville, and I kind of get in this habit every week of I pull up my calendar and I look at the next week ahead just to kind of mentally prepare, like, all right, I got a meeting this day, a conference call this day, I got the doctor's appointment here, dentist appointment here. And I was looking at it and I was like, wow, next week, boy, that's great. It's clear.
Not
we got
much
nothing.
going on.
No dots in the calendar except for, I think Annette had a chiropractor appointment, which is essentially nothing.
Yeah.
It's not having to go somewhere like where
Pack
we have to
up
be
Evelyn.
for.
Yeah.
Went to the next week. Nothing. Next week. Nothing. We have nothing on our calendar other than a couple of doctor's appointments and a dentist appointment, like an appointment. Evelyn's got an appointment at the pediatrician next week. But again, this is all minor stuff.
So that
we don't have anything until like the second week in March.
So like 6 weeks.
Solid 6 weeks.
And that 6 weeks began this past week or this upcoming week?
Basically this past week. So we still have about, from right now, we have roughly 6 weeks.
So to long form rip this Band-Aid off, it took you 1 week to decide you need to do a home renovation project, Steve.
I mean, if you want to be technical, we basically decided before the week had started.
I walk in this house today.
We were bored for about 15 minutes, and we're like, well, what do you want to do?
I walk in this house today, and you're getting out of the shower from your, circa 2002 workout morning.
Yeah, I was doing jazzercise. I was on my Body by Jake machine.
Yeah, you, Dick Simmons, jamming to the oldies. And your wife is standing there. We're chatting, and she says, "Hey, where'd you guys get your vanity?"
Your bathroom vanity.
Because we did our bathroom. What was that, a year ago? No, 2 years ago. And I chronicled the nightmare that it was.
You're still getting over it.
I don't think I'll ever be over it. And
some would say an exaggeration on your part.
Oh, it's horrendous. Anybody who does a bathroom home renovation is just a buffoon, short-sighted.
Okay.
So she asked me where I got the bathroom vanity, whatever. And I'm starting to piece some things together. So, Steve, tell me, what's this big home renovation project you guys got going on?
That would be a bathroom project.
And that begins in earnest today.
Yeah, basically. Technically...
You're going to look.
Technically, it kind of already started. Like, we already bought the faucet.
Okay.
There was one of the stores was having a big sale.
Sure.
Last week, so shot over there and found exactly what we wanted and just bought it then, knowing that we were eventually going to need it.
I can't wrap my brain around it.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on up there with you that any type of gap in life, just in terms of comfort and being able to relax, what goes on that the switch flips and you're like, I can't do this. I can't possibly have 6 weeks where I simply go to work Monday through Friday and then come home and live a normal life with my wife and daughter. I know. Let's undertake one of the most meaningless projects I could think of.
I don't know if it's meaningless. I mean,
how often do you use that bathroom? Do you use it quite a bit?
Yeah, during the week I use it.
Because it's main floor, so you don't...
I do... for about the last month, I've been using... That's my primary bathroom. Like, I get ready in there in the morning.
So you don't wake anybody up.
Because Evelyn is still sleeping in the bassinet, which is in our bedroom, which is right next to the bathroom.
Right.
Like, the bathroom... We have our... her bassinet is right next to the bathroom door.
Yeah.
So, I've been getting ready down here so I can not wake her up, not wake Annette up, because Annette's still waking up in the middle of the night to pump.
Yep.
And it's just easier. So I had never taken a shower in that bathroom until like a month ago. We've lived here over 2 years.
So you didn't, at that point you probably didn't even know, but you've had people stay here, so it's not like the shower hasn't
That's our guest bathroom. And now Annette's mom is here 2 days a week to watch Evelyn, and my mom has been here 2 times already since Evelyn's been born. She's coming out for a week in March.
Okay.
So it's we want it to be a functioning bathroom.
Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with your bathroom. It all functions. It's the issue that a lot of people think you think it's outdated. You don't right?
It's terribly outdated.
So you're looking to now give me the rundown. Are you looking to essentially rip this thing down to the studs and start over? Flooring, vanity, counter, mirror, toilet, bath.
Flooring, yes.
Okay.
Mirror, medicine cabinet type thing,
yep.
Yes. Vanity, yes.
Okay.
Countertop, yes.
Yep.
Toilet, yes.
Okay.
Shower, yes.
Okay, so everything.
Yeah.
And
paint.
I'm guessing you're going to paint.
Yeah, I mean, so technically not down to the studs because you're
not ripping the walls.
We're leaving the drywall in.
Sure.
Probably a door too,
man,
and some trim.
Yeah, until you get there, you're like, a door. It's a little sticky. Let's just get a whole new one.
Yeah,
with a window in it.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like a phone booth.
Let's replace the hardware. I don't like the doorknob anymore. So that begins what has begun. But in terms of the actual work, this is going to start this week or next weekend?
I don't know. I guess it depends on today what we can.
Okay.
If we can find anything we want. Yeah. We're not. The thing is, we're not in a huge rush to do it.
Right. But your goal at this point would be to have it done by March.
Yeah, by the time my mom gets here.
Which is somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, I think so. At my
Assuming
old house,
everything goes well.
At my old house, I did my bathroom basically by myself, but like a little help. I had a friend come over and help with some of the plumbing.
Right.
But I basically got it done in 2.5 weeks, and that was working on it like
after
on
work.
Weekends and a little bit of time after work. If I had a week, like a week straight, I would just do it all then. Ruin another vacation.
Yeah, you got a real thing for just sucking up that vacation time with projects.
But yeah, are you surprised?
No.
Are you surprised it took this long? Because Evelyn's 4 months old now.
No, and I'm not, because even in recent weeks you've been telling me that, if there's a lull in this weather, I'm going to rip that deck out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not surprising that you've been having this itch to waste your time and money and do some project. I just can't believe you even tried to make the proclamation last summer that you're going to essentially not do. No, what else could we need to do? Oh, the house is fine. We've got the flooring. We obviously got it painted. We've done all this. We've done whatever. Mm-hmm. Nothing needs to be done. And that lasted all the way till you wanting to tear the deck out, and that lasted all the way to the guest bathroom in the winter.
Yeah. I have a real problem, I think.
Well, I wish you luck, Steve. I'm not...
You're an expert now, though. Come on.
A million years.
Give me a pointer.
Me doing that. Okay, here's my pointer. Don't replace the tub.
That's the one thing that I'm not looking forward to.
That was a horrific experience of carving out the studs on the wall behind it. Awful. I wouldn't do it again. Nope.
Yeah. So that is that's our plan.
Well, I eagerly await the update. I'll be checking in with you on a weekly basis here. I'll give my head a little poke when I walk in here every week and see if I notice anything different.
Yeah. I think it'll probably go in. I think we're going to do it in little stages. We'll say, okay, this weekend we want to get the shower replaced. Then this weekend we're going to do the flooring.
Right.
This weekend we'll put in the toilet and the vanity, and then this weekend we'll paint.
Now, do you foresee any
problems?
Messages?
Yes.
Well, there's no question about that. Any text messages on a Friday night or a Saturday morning saying, hey, any chance you can record at whatever other time?
Of course.
We've really got to take, 12 hours today to work on this bathroom so it can be done on time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going as well as any other of our projects have gone.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Well, that's just perfect, Steve.
What have I told you? That the bathroom project was not the only project I was considering taking on.
Oh, God. That not only was this new father a man marred by mistakes, but a man filled with dumb.
What have I told you? That I had the opportunity to make a poor vehicle purchase. And that today, that purchase may take place.
That this opportunity is actually not that at all, but a burden.
What have I told you? That my 6 weeks of free time would soon be 6 weeks of torture. The Steve and Kyle podcast proudly presents Steve buying another Jeep?
I'll walk out. I kid you not. I can't.
When an opportunity presents itself.
You've got to be BSing me. You've simply got to be kidding me that this is even being discussed right now.
When you see...
After the train wreck that was Murder Jeep 2.
When you see this vehicle, you will instantly understand.
I think I know why your neighbors refuse to talk to you.
Instantly, you will understand.
Imagine going through this conversation. Bought another Jeep. Oh, Jesus. Oh, come on. That's a joke, right? What you're showing me on that screen is a joke. You're going to sell the tires, you're going to sell the toolbox, and you're going to sell the, what's that, a fan that's in the back end?
I'm not sure what that is.
Does it even have windows?
Yeah.
It does? Are you sure? Because are they rolled down?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's pretty nice, right?
I mean, you made some decisions in your life.
I don't know.
But oof, this one is right up there.
What are you talking about? Look at that. It's a 90. It's a 1990 Jeep Comanche.
Oh, good. So it's old?
Yeah.
I don't know what I can even say to you.
Pennies
right
on the dollar this thing is going to cost. Pennies on the dollar.
Sure. Okay. All right. Get into it. What's the rundown? What have you... what's the list of problems? What happened to this thing that you're now taking it off the heap and you're going to try to fix her up?
This is, as we've talked about many times... Remember, I had the white Jeep. That was my little, that was my tinkering Jeep.
Sure.
My little project vehicle. I've talked numerous times about how I always picture myself having some kind of little project to work on. It's as a hobby.
Which, again, you do. You have a child. It's not a project, but I would argue that's a pretty big...
right, but I mean, I also still have my own interests.
You're also undertaking a bathroom project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And... a 90.
It's a 1990 Jeep Comanche.
Does that make it better? And it's a 90 or?
Newer body style.
Oh, that's newer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, compared to an 86.
Well, I guess, yeah. Boy, when you put it that way, it is new. I mean, World War II, pretty fresh. No, compared to World War I.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
I mean, come on. So this was a vehicle that I had been keeping an eye out for a long time.
Why?
Because it's a Jeep, but it's also a truck.
Huh. What a combination.
I'm not expecting you to understand
a 1990
the things
truck?
that I like.
No, that's true.
I don't understand why you spend money on comic books.
No, that's fair. No, that's very fair. And this is, in fairness, according to your early estimates, a profitable project.
No, this will not be sold.
Oh, you're keeping this?
This one is, this is me.
Where's she going to stay?
She's going to stay in the garage.
So this is going to be your project truck?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is going to be in the garage. So that means one of you two will be parking in the driveway?
On the street, yeah. Possibly. Unless I can find storage for it.
So not just keep it here, but now you're actually looking at possibly holdover cost.
Oh, no. Free storage.
Those happen all the time. I mean, those just... Okay.
You don't like it?
No.
Look at it. It's got this thing.
I don't want to swear twice in an episode. I don't like swearing once in an episode. You caught me so off guard, though.
Yeah.
From this, it looks like a piece of ass.
It doesn't look the best.
So
I'll give you that.
What's the plan?
Plan is to just slowly tinker with it, work on it, and
what's wrong with what is there a big problem with it that hey, it needs a new engine?
That I know of, no.
Okay.
It's a Georgia vehicle that is now in a garage about a half hour from here.
So you paid to ship it?
No. I haven't even gone and looked at it in person.
Oh, okay.
It
was from Georgia. It's being sold here. Gotcha.
Yes, a guy that has it here used to live in Georgia, moved up here. It's been sitting in his garage. Has never seen road salt, because normally these things all along here, along the bottom of the doors, they're
rusted out,
just completely gone. But this one being from Georgia, no rust. At least he says no rust.
So until you really get eyes on it.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm going hopefully today.
Okay.
That's the plan. You want to go? You in?
There's not one thing I want to do less.
What?
No, not in a million
years. Look at
years.
it. It's a blast from the past.
Yeah, not in a good way.
Wait until you see this thing in about a year.
Is it still not going to have air conditioning because it's a 1990?
It's got air conditioning.
Is it a manual?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, so functional.
You don't like manuals?
It's just so stupid. This whole thing. All right. So this is going in the garage, and you're parking in the driveway going forward. Just another reason. That's a step away from you parking on the street every day.
Yeah.
And again, yet another reason your neighbors are going to want nothing to do with you. You're going to be that guy.
Because I park in the driveway?
No, you're a step away from having like a truck angled into your yard.
Oh, God, no.
And you're going to plow out a piece of your yard in the winter to park it in.
Look, there are plenty of things that I do that are rednecky, but I will never be Guy. Why is it that in this area,
I know,
there are people that park their cars on their front lawns?
It's crazy.
They'll have a 2-car garage with a driveway that is
a 4-car driveway
that is exactly wide enough to fit 2 across and at least 2 deep. Yet they will park their car on their on their front lawn.
Yep.
If you do that and you have space to park, you are the most redneck person ever.
I even have
it's like the guy that always has his garage door open for no reason.
I know it. And I
opened during that whole snowstorm.
I remember I took a picture. We were coming over when it was snowing pretty bad on a night, like 7:30 at night, and it was pitch black out, and there was the garage door just wide open. I have a similar problem though with two stall garage, 4-car driveway, and you see 1 car in the garage and then a car on the road in front of the house. I don't like that.
Yeah, I guess that one doesn't bother me as much.
I got to go around you. I got to listen. My the crazy neighbor that I've told you about.
Hasn't he threatened your life before?
Yes, it is. It's not a positive working relationship. But they have a car parked right in front of their house on the road. Since before it was snowing, hasn't moved. So the plows have gone around it. So for that 20 to 25 feet, that's a 1-lane road at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not the best.
Fix it.
At least move it into your driveway when you know that snow is coming.
Right. So I'm not asking you specifics. That's not fair. Mm-hmm. You said this Jeep was a deal. Can you...
Did I say deal?
Yeah.
I meant steal.
Oh, well, I'd kindly ask you to hedge your words.
I'd be crazy not to buy it.
The last time you told me about a deal, you were negotiating with a man from Missouri for about 3 months to get the parts you supposedly bought.
Deal of the century. Eventually got all those parts.
Yes, you did.
Boy, it was...
Oh, it took you 6 weeks.
Pulling teeth. Took him 6 weeks to send me a seatbelt.
Unbelievable story still.
Kept saying, hey, man, that is literally the one thing keeping me from driving this vehicle, getting it inspected and driving it.
And at that point...
I don't have a seatbelt on the driver's seat.
At that point, if you can't, just say so or whatever, and I'll look elsewhere. You know what I mean? That's worst case scenario.
But the worst thing was I had already paid for it, so
it was already it should have already been yours. But without getting into specifics, and I don't fully understand, how Jeeps sell because they hold their value. That's a big selling point, sticking point with Jeeps. Mm-hmm. Was this a 4-digit purchase for you?
Well, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. But it's not going to be anything like a 5-digit purchase.
Oh, no.
Okay,
God,
good.
No.
I was going to say,
I'm hoping to get it for 3 digits, in fact.
Hey, I just didn't know because you see Jeeps and some of them are, vintage or relics, but if they're in good shape, they're more valuable than a new Jeep.
This one would not be considered that. Okay. This is
So there's not a big community out looking for 90 Comanches?
No, not a lot. This is one of those things, for me, it's nostalgia. It reminds me of my childhood. I always wanted one when I was a kid. I just thought that they were cool looking. And they only made them for 6 or 7 years. That was it. It was mid-80s to early 90s. Okay. That's it.
So they're pieces of crap.
Yeah, they were designed poorly, so they would completely rust out at just the thought of snow or salt. They would be completely rusted out, but this one is somehow has survived. So
wow, I'm happy for you. Look at the joy.
Can you imagine next summer?
Let me stop you.
When me and you,
nope,
big boy vroom vrooming up the sandhill. In this beast.
At least it's got doors. Do these ones come off?
Well, they can. Any door can come off if you want it.
That's true, Stephen.
It's a popular modification, yes.
Sure. Popular?
Yeah.
So there's any other lunatic out there other than a Jeep owner just itching to rip their doors off.
Yeah.
Who?
All right, maybe not popular outside of the Jeep community.
Like Porsche owners? Are they just waiting to get that thing in the garage and ripping the doors off? I guess I'm just looking for any other car owner who wants to rip their doors off.
Have you been in the Jeep with the doors off yet?
No, I don't think I've been in the Jeep.
Really?
No, I don't think so. We were briefly going to go. No, I'm good.
Go for a spin?
Not at all.
It's a Jeep thing, man.
Yeah, I understand it. I'm just not interested in it.
So there's where I stand.
All right. Sorry, I'm posting a poll, totally unbiased. Car owner's weird. If you want to rip the doors off. All right. That's at Steve and Kyle on Facebook and Twitter. And speaking of that, Steve, we were talking a bit about this before we started recording. I think the open-ended question of where should the Steve and Kyle Road Show take their circus act next went about as well as I expected.
Yeah, it's just like we got like 20 completely random.
Yeah, so on Twitter there's 19 comments, and I would argue there's 15 destinations.
Good.
So we've really
maybe we should have narrowed it down a bit.
We've really pared it down to where we're going to go this year. Yeah, that's a decision you and I will have to talk about if we're willing to fly somewhere, if we want to drive somewhere. We'll talk about that off air. But I also had a question because Annette started telling me something when I walked in this morning. A bit of because I told her, in fairness, I walked in and again you were still getting out of the shower, so I told her, I said, hey, I thought I just heard the front door opening next door. So I stood out in the driveway for a few seconds longer.
Yeah.
It was a false alarm. I don't know what the sound was. I checked. Still those same moving boxes in the front right window.
I've noticed that too.
That's a problem, right?
And it's that may sound like we're peeping in the windows, but no, there's no like curtains or blinds on the downstairs windows, and you just see a stack probably 3 high.
Right.
It just says U-Haul on the side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they haven't moved. They've added some window coverings upstairs, but other than that, whatever. So I told Annette that. I said, oh man. I thought they were going to come out. I was going to force the interaction, but it was a false alarm. She said, oh, did Steve tell you? And I said, no, but I'm hoping he's going to tell me today. So let me ask you before we get into anything. Because you're at the 3-week marker today.
So I have 1 week left.
You have a week left.
For meaningful, I think you termed it meaningful interaction.
Yeah. Outside of just...
how's it going?
Yeah, or a wave.
You want a... Hey, my name's so-and-so. Oh, where'd you move from? What do you guys do?
Maybe something like that, yeah.
A little, the typical getting to know you chit-chat.
Yep.
With a new neighbor.
Now,
have any kids? Oh, what grade are they in?
Yep. Did you want to give me this update now, or did we want to tease it for next week when you give a final update on this neighbor saga?
I'll give it to you right now because a lot could happen in the next week.
Oh God! So
with the groundwork that has been laid.
Here's my interpretation of that. You got snubbed again, and you're trying to put a positive spin that could all turn around in the next week. When in actuality, this thing's been dead in the water since before I even floated it to you.
Boy, did I get snubbed.
What? Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I did before. I've got a death grudge with them now.
It was earlier this week. I'd gotten home from work. Normally, when I get home from work, as I'm pulling in the driveway, I just reach out the window, grab the mail out of the mailbox, and then pull in the garage. Well, this particular day, I had just forgotten to do that. Realized it like a half hour later, so Evelyn was down for a nap. And, let me go grab the mail, see if we got anything.
Put on your slippers.
Put on my slippers.
Your robe.
Yep. Had my pipe in my mouth.
Start mosey out the front door. Now, do you mosey out the front door or you go out the garage?
I went out the garage.
So
I just, because the front door, if that front door opens, the dogs go nuts. And when Evelyn is sleeping, I'm doing anything possible to avoid any noise at all.
If it'd be easier for me to come into the garage, I mean, I let you know when I'm coming. Just let me know.
Yeah, no, okay. It seems like they know that schedule.
Okay, like that. Sunday morning.
Yeah,
friend's coming over.
Right,
or Saturday.
So I went outside. I was walking down the driveway, and just as I was walking down the driveway, there was a car coming down their driveway, but it wasn't backing out. It was like they had backed into the driveway, so it was coming out head first. And I'm at the bottom.
So that's eyesight, because look at that in your mind now, Steve. A car pulling out of that driveway, to try to paint the picture for somebody listening. This house is to your left, but it's not like left, like side by side, because you're on a cul-de-sac. Yeah. So it's on 15 degrees left.
Basically, when he's driving down his driveway, he has to turn to avoid hitting my mailbox.
Right.
Like that's how in line I was with him.
And pulling straight out.
Means
they're looking ahead and like.
Yeah. It's not a looking over the shoulder or looking in the mirror situation.
So this is it.
He's pulling straight out of the driveway. By the way, I don't know if I think I mentioned it at the end of last week's podcast. There was a U-Haul truck in the driveway. So I thought, this is it.
Yeah.
Maybe they just hadn't moved in.
Yep.
They were just there from time to time.
Maybe they hadn't moved in, and maybe their family members are just dicks.
Maybe. So he's pulling down the driveway, and I stop as I'm like just getting to my mailbox, and I do the old hand in the air, one wave. He actually looked down, like down into his lap, like he was holding it, like looking at his phone or something.
So, oh wow!
And then he speeds past me, and I turn and look at him as he's driving away, and I just put my arms up like this, like, what are you? What's going on, man? I don't get this.
Because it's peak frustration now.
It is, and as I've mentioned every time we talk about it, don't need to be your best friend. Just, we're going to live next to each other for, we're not planning on moving for 18 to 20 years.
Sure.
And I don't know what their plan is. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be here for a year and then sell the house and move on. But
it's a weird way to live.
Yeah,
though.
It's weird because it's two people about our age. So you would assume that they're moving in, they're going to start a family, put down some roots, live here for a little while.
Correct.
Like the neighborhood that we're in is not it's not like, I don't know. It doesn't remind me of anywhere else I've lived.
Well,
where
it's not
it was
a transitional neighborhood.
No.
It's not like a start. It's not typically your starter home neighborhood in cul-de-sac. And we talked about the people that moved out recently. They weren't transitional. I mean, if they were transitional, they were transitioning into a community,
downsizing. Yeah. Getting a condo.
Yeah, this isn't something. Yeah, okay.
So
to paint the picture, this is not something that 20-somethings are buying for their very first house.
No, definitely not. So, he drove right past me. I put my arms up like as if to say, "What the F, man?"
I can't believe that happened.
And he just kept on keeping on, kept on cruising. So I just thought, okay. Now, last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe the first time we talked about it 3 weeks ago, I had on the Nextdoor app, I had gone and sent the neighbors across the street, across the Zach, sent them a request.
Yeah, that was 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. So pulling up the little map, it still says invite sent. Like they're still a yellow dot. They're not a green dot yet.
But they've gotten. It means that
they've gotten the card in the mail
that said from your buddy Steve across the Zach, and they've ignored that.
So last week, or maybe the week before, I don't remember when it was, pulled up the map just to see, maybe it's a green dot now. Nope, still a yellow dot, still a pending dot. Then I looked at my neighbors, and I saw that they were a red dot, meaning they hadn't joined yet. So I was feeling a little crazy, and I thought, let's go ahead and send them an invite too. Sent them an invite. Forgot about it for probably Yeah, this must have been at least like a week and a half ago.
And sent them an invite, meaning another
to join.
postcard.
Yeah, to join. Yeah, not the same people across the street. This is now the neighbors.
But still a physical postcard.
Sent them a postcard because I want them to join. Even though I've used this app like 3 times.
Yeah, but yet you have this innate desire.
I do.
To have everybody on board at once.
Yeah. Well, look, cul-de-sac movie nights are going to be pretty boring if they're just us. So, sent them the invite, kind of forgot about it, and like 2 days ago, opened up the app. They're not red anymore.
Oh.
They're not even yellow anymore.
Oh, they're disappeared?
They're green.
So they joined.
She has joined.
Okay.
So with Nextdoor, the way that it works is once you join, it basically makes a post saying, Kyle has joined the neighborhood group, whatever our neighborhood is. And then people can go on there and like they'll see that as a post. So you can click the little button that says welcome, which basically sends them like it's the Facebook equivalent of a like. So it's, hey, cool, welcome to the neighborhood. So I saw that and I was like, huh. So I hit the welcomed button. But that wasn't enough. I then hit the comment button.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to see it?
Yeah. Hang on. Here's what I think you should say. Hey, tell your D-head husband
to stop ignoring me.
Stop ignoring me and my podcast co-host in the driveway. Yeah, let's see what you wrote. Or if you want to read it, what do you prefer?
I kept it simple.
Uh-huh.
Kept it real simple.
Yeah.
Simply gave it a welcome, neighbor.
Oh my God, nobody likes you.
Yeah. But
you need, here's what you need to do. Delete that, okay, and never think of doing that again. Hey, I think I live next door to you.
I mean, that's him.
No, I know. Yeah, we pulled up.
That's definitely him.
Yeah, we pulled up. We've done a deep dive.
We did a deep dive after the podcast last week.
So, I think you need to mention something in that comment, just about, hey, I'm your next door neighbor. Come over for
she can
tea?
She can see.
Oh, there's no question
in there who I am. It's going to show her that your neighbor said hello to you because I tap on her profile. It lists her address. So if she taps on my profile, it's going to show her my address, and she's going to say, "Huh? Well, there's only 6 houses in the Zach, so that's one of them."
So let me ask you where the tipping point comes, because obviously you live here, so you and I are at different stages of this. I'm done with them.
Mm-hmm.
Done with them. Jerks. Not one.
Even if I salvage a relationship and become best friends with them, you will never like them.
Good. I'm taking this microphone. You can buy your own. I'm getting out of here.
So if I become friends with my neighbors, you're quitting the podcast?
Yeah, I'm taking half the mixer.
Seems reasonable. Good.
I'll let you pick what half.
Okay.
But I listen, I think at this point there's no redemption for them. The way they've handled themselves, because there's 2 ways they could have done it. And I'm not saying you have to go around introducing yourself to everybody. That's kind of silly. But when people seem to be outwardly expressing, waving or saying hi, and you're actively ignoring it, that's one thing. But, mix in the snowblower at the end of the driveway thing.
Yeah.
And now nothing still. And then when did you post that message, that lovely message to her?
Yesterday.
Nothing. What is your tipping point? Is it going to be a middle finger to you?
Oh boy. If I were to get a finger, that'd
have to be it.
Yeah, I mean, but I would still want to say, what did I do?
Yeah, that precisely.
What the hell, man?
Right.
Look, I get it if you're not like chatty patty and you don't want to be friends. No problem. But I mean, to just blatantly go out of your way to ignore just saying hi,
Not even saying. Driving by.
Just
and
introduce
waving.
yourself to me. Introduce yourself to me. So if I do see you outside, I can say, "Oh, hey, Doug." That's it. You know, God forbid, like something happens and your house is on fire and you run over here to seek shelter. Use a phone. We won't have to have an awkward introduction as your house burns down.
Now this is a total shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Since they've moved in, have you, or even maybe slightly before, have you had any interactions with any other neighbors on the Zach?
Yeah, I mean a couple of waves and hellos.
I just didn't know if maybe there was now a bubbling anti-Steve.
You think they're locking me out?
Sentiment, but no. I mean, if the other neighbors are waving.
Yeah, I mean it's also the middle of winter, so you don't see people as much anymore. People aren't out cutting their grass or having picnics or whatever. But
all right,
I'm just disappointed. I'm really disappointed.
You've got a week left. I don't know what to do. And again, that's not the only possibility. Yeah. They're not the. I mean, I mentioned.
Yeah, I think that one
they're done.
Lost cause. Yeah, and I just if we haven't even said hello yet. Now, granted, I haven't seen her at all.
Oh,
I've only seen him
dead.
I mean, maybe.
Like he's using her like a ventriloquist dummy. She's one of the things sitting in the windows. Like, oh no, you remember New Year's Eve? I looked out when I was peering in there, trying to.
Did think you saw a head,
and it was just it didn't move.
Now, the plot thickens though because the other day, we were doing something. I forget what it was, but I happened to look out the front window and there were like in our cul-de-sac, there are never cars parked in the street. It's just everyone's parked in the driveway.
Especially right now, it'd be a bit of an issue because when it snows, all the snow gets pushed to the middle of the cul-de-sac. So if there's a car on the outside, it might not be passable.
There were like 4 cars parked out in the Zac, and I wondered what the heck. And I just happened to look out as somebody was getting out of a car and walking up to their house. So it's not that they're antisocial with everybody, because they obviously have people coming over there. Maybe, I don't know, a housewarming party, birthday party, whatever. So there were people there. They're not complete shut-ins. They're just not a fan of me.
For whatever reason.
Now, I know that you and I view relationships with neighbors completely differently.
Uh-huh.
But in your honest opinion, have I done anything to deserve the treatment that I've gotten?
Not at all.
Okay.
You've been nothing.
Because I know that you would say yes if I had.
Oh, absolutely. You've been nothing but outwardly nice. I mean, and in fairness, you haven't done anything to. I mean, we joke about you obviously offending Jesus on a Sunday in your sweatpants and Crocs installing an antenna.
But they wouldn't know about that.
Yeah,
because that was years before.
Yeah,
they were
and we joked about you being the trash house when you were after you moved in and you were doing car repairs and selling fences,
giving away things to wreck.
But even that, it's your own stuff. But this is weird. This is a weird instance, and I did post this. I posted a poll on Twitter. Should Steve give up on his new neighbor? Yes or no? But here's what I want. I want all of these votes now before the episode releases, and then I'm going to post it again next week because I need people to hear this newest one.
Yeah,
because I have a feeling a lot of people and the listening audience on this has been divided among should you be nice to your neighbors and should you not. Stand by it. They're the worst, all of them.
I gotta admit,
you might be coming around now.
it took a couple years, but might be coming around to your side.
Because I don't know what to do from here outside of, again, baking cookies and knocking on the door.
It's just disappointing. It's just really disappointing.
At this point.
Because if they end up having kids, who knows? They may have 5 of them.
Yeah.
I never see any of them.
Yeah.
But inevitably, if they have kids that are roughly our kids' age, they're going to be out in the backyard at the same time, and they're going to make friends. And then, so what, 5 years from now, when our kids are playing in the front yard together, I have to then walk over and say, hey, by the way, my name is Steve. Remember when you ignored me when you moved in 5 years ago? That was weird. But hey, now we have to have this weird relationship because our kids are friends. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Again, I think we're at a stage where if you were to do the proverbial neighborly thing and go bake cookies and go to their door and say, "Welcome to the neighborhood," I honestly think there's a 70% chance that they just don't answer the door.
I don't think they answered the door. No, not at all.
Well, if you have any suggestions, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Let Steve know what...
We need a moderator. We definitely need a moderator because we're too close to the situation.
Well, right, and I'm one way, you're the other way. I say go burn their house down, and you might bring their mail into their house.
Yeah.
I'd love opinions on this, but yeah, that poll has been posted on social media, on Twitter and Facebook at Steve and Kyle. Before we go, Steve,
yes,
we had a little bit of show and side gig invasion this past
week. Arts and crafts done by one Zach Ruddock.
Now our friend Zach, he has some designs for us up at the merch stop, SteveandKyle.com. Merch shop, SteveandKyle.com/merch. His newest one is up there. Posted that last week. I tweeted and put on Facebook about that, so be sure to check that out. But he's also taken to make some audio delights for the side gig.
Yes.
But doing what we've asked for years, which is to get this podcast to infiltrate the side gig.
Yeah, we play a game every day on the radio show, a trivia game. There's always an intro for it, and as of late, we've been playing a lot of listener-submitted intros. They've come up with some very creative ones. It's a lot of fun. So Zach sent me this one day during the week, and I thought, ooh, very sneaky. I like it. And I think I played it on Thursday, Wednesday, something like that.
Yeah.
This was played on the radio show.
What if I told you that the host of a nationally syndicated radio show couldn't speak, and that he was so snarky, he's even called Greg? What if I told you that on that radio show, they play a game of trivia every day where a listener has a chance to call in and win a cash prize? What if I told you that your opponents in this game were the world's biggest boring machine and a fat little piggy? But what if I told you that boring machine had a mean streak and that fat little piggy wasn't as dumb as he looks? What if I told you that I stole this bit from the Steve and Kyle podcast? Well, you'd probably say, the what now? Anyway, this is Fancy Idiot Zach, and it's time for 5 questions in 90 seconds. It's time for Dumber Than the Show trivia?
The proper way.
Textbook.
Every 30 for 30 is ended.
With the up inflection, a question mark, Dumber Than the Show trivia?
I saw after you had posted that on our social media, and again, thank you so much, Zach. I always love arts and crafts. We will take our time and play those every time that happens if you send those to us or let us know. Mm-hmm. I did see our friend Dan Scheich, who was in the music industry.
Yes, I met Dan in Nashville last week.
And he had posted on that he was working on something similar. And he seemed defeated that Zach beat him to it. I urge you, Dan, please don't. Now, the reach of that piddly little radio show over there.
Yeah, nothing. 15 people a week, maybe.
Phew. No, thank you. You can send it to them, and maybe they'll get to it with their big... if they can see it outside of their big heads. Or you can send it to us.
Yeah.
And we'll for sure play it, because we have to talk to Dan coming up here in the next few weeks as well anyway, and I would love to have some audio to accompany that. Dan, don't give up, man. I want to hear that. I always love that, because I believe someone said they're working on a Cheers-themed one as well.
Oh, that would be great.
And now that... the fact that has permeated this show, and we haven't really talked about it, I binged it
2 years.
I binged it almost 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and it's still a talking point on this show.
Oh man, that was fantastic. Thank you, Zach. Always appreciate the arts and crafts. Steve and Kyle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Steve and Kyle. You can take those polls on Facebook and Twitter. And please, if you have any advice for me on how to handle this situation.
You're defeated.
Because I'm completely defeated. I'm afraid that it's going to end up kind of ruining living here. Which seems extreme.
Yeah,
but
presumably they don't have kids, so if they do down the road, whatever. But you already have neighbors that have children.
Yeah.
That, I wouldn't say you and the neighborhood movie night is totally ruled out quite yet.
Not yet, but...
I did want to give a quick thanks to everybody before we go for listening to the new Sports Tape.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We completely forgot to mention.
No, it's fine. We're on a tighter schedule. But, yeah, that came out last weekend. Thank you to everybody who listened. Positive comments. Even if they're negative, I don't really care. I haven't gotten any.
Every other week?
It's the plan. Every other week. Last week did a deep dive on the problems facing Major League Baseball in the upcoming years. Not the sign-stealing scandal that everybody's talking about right now. So please do check that out, Sports Tape, just right here on the regular Steve and Kyle podcast feed.
You can always call or text 424-30-SK-POD. That's 424-307-5763. And we will talk to you in a couple of days when we do the Fast 5 episode. See ya!